Hello everyone and welcome to the Atelier Nekuzuki live stream. Today is January 16th and we are wrapping, we're like second-ish last step towards oh my goodness, that thing, Creekside Yarn Festival, and wrapping up on the bags for it. So here we go. First things first, we got everything clipped that we're going to potentially get finished tonight. So we're going to zip through all these end seams and then we're going to work on boxing them. And if we do actually get them all boxed and it's still a moderate lateness, we'll start sewing the box edges as well. Am I gonna regret a Coke Zero at this time of night? Maybe. We'll find out. I'm also just kind of like, I should probably finish that now, excuse me, rather than later, so that it's like in my system now instead of like 2 hours from now. That will be an improvement in general. All right. We do not need to backstitch it, but we definitely need to have it on the right stitch length. We don't need to backstitch the corners because the corners are going to get cut. I've consistently discussed that at this point, I probably, at this step of the bag, I probably should actually cut the box edges. Probably would save me a lot of thread. But tonight is not that night. Because that's what we do for the Kato bags, and it's worked out so far. But I don't know, it's never been in the, why is it continuing once I get up? Whatever. I hope I don't have to troubleshoot my machine. Anyway, yeah, cutting the box edges, I know lots of people do before they actually do the bag, but I've just never have, and so we might at some point, eventually. I think it's mostly because it's like my cutting has gotten a shit ton more precise even in the last couple of years because I've had to be more precise because of the Kato. And it's not just the cutting, but it's also the sewing has gotten more precise in the last couple of years even. So, nothing wrong with what I was doing before, but I have the skills, and yes, that is with a Z, whatever you want to call it, have just improved that much in the last couple of years, I think. But, yeah, you know. All right. So I did not get on earlier today. I was intending to be on earlier today, but then Dallas was like, do you want to come upstairs and, watch me play some of this game with kids? And I'm like, okay, we can do that. So I went upstairs to watch him play some of his Legend of Zelda game that he got for Christmas. Echoes of Wisdom. So you're playing as Zelda, which is super cool. And then, but I was working because it was a big dungeon actually. So I was working on I got most, I'd say, maybe not most, but probably about half of the bags actually barcoded. And I'm just now, literally right now, as I said that, realizing that this is the time to start it, because then we're probably at our lowest stock level of the year right now. So starting the barcode process is the hardest part of it. And maintaining it it does add more work, but starting it is definitely the worst. Especially, I did get the, I got the thermal label printer completely figured out. I did screw up one batch for the Kato bags. I didn't realize that you couldn't do lowercase letters in the barcode, I think is what messed it up, now that I actually think of it. But I messed up all the Kato labels and I had to redo them. Whatever. Learning curves, right? So And then I did up like the stuff that's a batch where it's like I don't want to have to tag these every time because realistically I don't tag them even with a business card. So webbing straps and the scissors, I'm just gonna do like a master sheet for them, and that'll be the just where I keep all that information, because then it can just chill somewhere. Although I did mess up the light gray one because I was writing the names on them out so that you can just scan whatever one off of the sheet, and I went down into the barcode. I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna have to reprint that. That's not a big deal. Yeah. So, still a super productive afternoon. Got me to actually look at what's listed online. There was some discrepancies, so I think I've managed to get the majority, if not all of them out. Just a couple stocking errors that just like seem to have happened over the last year. I know what a couple of them were at least, but now that I actually think about it, but it's always good to like double check into everything. So, yeah. Don't need to backstitch there, Katie. Now these end seams do seem to usually be some of the fastest that we do for this bag, because it's just like go straight, go straight, go straight, go straight. It's awesome. Nothing too tedious. I just realized that I could turn down the brightness because that's really just eye-searing right now. Just swapping out the bobbin setup because the black bobbin thread is wound. And so we'll just pop the white up there for now, and then we still have a full bobbin, like a full second bobbin right now, but we will need to wind this one sooner rather than later because it is actually, it wasn't completely full bobbin. All right, I'm happy with where you guys are sitting, but I need to turn the brightness down probably. Yeah, there, it's still bright, but there's actually definition now where there should be definition. Yay! We got a tiny bit of snow today, maybe like a half centimeter of snow, maybe if we're lucky. Ugh, we need snow, and it's supposed to be cold over the weekend, so it's like today was kind of our last predicted nice day for a little bit. It's supposed to be -8 tomorrow, and then like just slowly get colder this weekend, which is kind of like, well, I wish that the nice weather had held on at least through Saturday. Because if it gets too miserable or too snowy, people don't like coming out to events, which I don't blame them. I'm not trying to blame anyone, but it's just the reality of it. It's like, you could have held on 2 more days. Get cold on Sunday, not Saturday. Anyway, but of course, weather gods don't listen to me, so. I was watching so I stumbled onto a very appropriate reel on Instagram yesterday. Yeah, Instagram yesterday. This morning, last night after I was off the stream, maybe. It doesn't matter. Point of it being that it was another influencer-ish person going to Nippori in Tokyo, which is where Tomato is. And he actually went into one called Okuyama, which apparently has they have like a fabric exclusive to them, like it comes to only them from the manufacturers. So I'm definitely gonna go check it out next trip. Realistically, I fill my bag at Tomato, and that's it. But like in November 22 when I was there, I did do a little bit more exploration, which was good. But now that I actually have a name, I'll go properly check it out. By the way, if you're around for the Macho Bar conversation last night, Macho Bar is a bar in Kyoto. I did add a couple of the videos that I found randomly on YouTube that kind of give you a hint of what the experience is supposed to be like. It's basically, it's a Macho Man bar, and you get served by very muscled men. And I really want to go, especially if I am successful in completing the Kyoto Marathon. And I have other friends to go with. But the best one was probably, I think it's the one with the dude in it, and it's like, arigato gozaimacho. I'm like, oh my god. So you can tell that they're playing and having fun with it, which is good. Is it objectification? 100%. Are they hopefully consensually being objectified? That's the difference. Consensual objectification is the difference. I don't know. I don't know if you can apply for a job at Macho Bar and not know what you're getting into. I hope not. I hope you know what you're getting into when you do that. Okay, that one, the bobbin finished at a location where it's like, all right, we can cut, like it does, it's all good. Whee! Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, this is the fast part. Or at least, yeah, because the boxing part is not very fast. Not, the cutting part, it can be fast, quick. But the actual, like, sewing of the boxes is what can take some more time sometimes. And when you think of it, it makes sense. So we've got only, like, just over 30 bags here. But each bag has 8 boxes to finish. Like, box edges. So that's 240 edges to finish, just in 30 bags. The kit that I did with Caroline is actually a special bag. Again, inspired by one that I saw through a Japanese creator. Kind of a bunch of darts, 30 bags, 4 darts each. It was so many darts. And I will not be doing it again. So if you would like one of those squirrel bags, that bag shape specifically will never be coming back. At least not in that form, because holy darts. I will take the Sheena zippers over those darts again. I say it as I'm going to go do the exact same thing to myself with the box bags, basically. I don't know. This is like something that I've gone on ad nauseum about. But the whole, like, it seems like in every craft, no matter what you do, when it's a handcraft, there is a point that you typically end up finding where you're bored. And I find that it is different on every single bag. And, like, sometimes it's also different depending on what I'm, like, what the week is, to be honest. Like, who knows, right? So, like, some knitters swear up and down they never do a gauge swatch. And I would say so they've found that boring. And they haven't run into enough of a disaster from not doing a gauge swatch. Or they're just chill enough about it. Plus, gauge swatches totally can lie. So, like, that sort of thing. Right now, it's a new year, so I don't know what my tedium point is, but I'm pretty sure sewing the box edges will be that point. By the way, that whole squirrel bag project has cursed on my end from basically start to finish. Well, no. Kinda. I don't know. It was definitely finishing. Maybe not at the start, but definitely finishing, because it was like, so we chose the fabric when we were in Japan in May of 23 because it's super cute. Decided that we would produce it for like early. I was shooting for the fall, but then it took a while to figure out what we were actually going to do for the bag pattern. I think the bag pattern turned out well because it looks like a mushroom. These, by the way, are available through the Ancient Arts Yarns website. The Whimsical Woodland Kit. Super cute. Caroline designed a cowl to go with the fabric, which is like squirrels and mushrooms and all of that. It's fucking adorable. I am biased, but you're here too, so you're also biased towards the cuteness of it, I'm sure. Anyway, so she designed the pattern, and so the kit comes with like the bag, the yarn, blah, 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 all the things. And then, yeah, so we bought it, and then stuff just fell apart. So we're like, okay, well, we'll do it for the new year. And then stuff fell further apart. And it was just like, okay, let's shelve this project for like late 24, early 25, whatever, right? Not a big deal. Not like the fabric's gonna go bad, blah, 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 blah. Got stored. I knew where I stored it. I knew where I stored all of them. We had agreed. 10 per color, so 30 bags total, because that's what I could cut out of the fabric. With a couple to spare in case I really fucked something up or whatever. Stored them away. Not a big deal, whatever. Went back to sew them. I only had 7 per bag. I'm like, or per color. I'm like, what? And then New Caroline had one. So I was like, okay, well, that still only makes 24. So how, and I still don't know how this happened, how did I lose 6 bags, like 2 per color? I specifically remember, they went into the box here, and they have been in that box all summer. I knew that. So what the hell happened? I don't know. And then I was going through and I was finishing stuff, and because we agreed that we were only going to have 24 bags total, 8 bags each, color, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is taking like a substantially longer time than I would expect it to. Did another count. Suddenly I had 10 fucking bags in each color. I had 9 more to finish in each color. I do not know where they went, and I do not know where they came from. I swear there is some sort of mischief maker in my studio. Speaking of which, I need to put out a couple saucers for them. There's nothing that's happened recently, and it is the new year. I should have done it in the last couple weeks. Anyway, it doesn't matter when I do it. I should just do it, because it's like I'll offer up like a saucer of milk or something like that, and then suddenly stuff like appears, and I offered up a saucer of whiskey, and then suddenly all the bags came back, and I'm like, what the hell is in the studio? Because I've done that before. It's like I'll be like just going along, and like I know that there's stuff on my desk, but it just like disappears, and it's like, okay, I'll give you some milk, and the less important thing will come back, and then I'm like, okay, what about some whiskey? And suddenly I'm able to find everything I need for the project. I don't know what kind of mischief maker is here, but they're definitely having a laugh at my expense. So, and it's not the kids. I know it's not the kids, because if they get into anything, A, I usually catch them fast enough, and B, the last time this happened, I found it exactly where I thought it was, and I had looked like 30 seconds before. Bags just convinced me that there is 100% a mischief maker in here. This is not going to work. Usually I can just like flip it and go back through for chain piecing. Oh, I just started on the wrong one, or I don't know what happened there, whatever. Anyway, so long story short, we did end up with 30 bags, 10 each. And they're available through Ancient Arts Yarns. It is a really cute kit. We're both very proud of it. The cowl is very modular, so you can knit like however much or however little you want of the like squirrels and mushrooms and height and everything like that. And yeah, it's cute. Like I said, I'm biased, but you're here viewing this, so I'm sure you're biased as well. But yeah, like how could I miss counting 6 bags? I still do not understand. And like, yes, some of this could probably, I put it into the machine upside down. I totally could have like blamed that on mismanagement of the fabric, but it wasn't, because it was still exactly where it was supposed to freaking be. So it's like, where did you just like go wander off somewhere and have an adventure? I'm not sure. Anyway. So we've got 4 seams total to sew. We do the 2 exterior seams, and then we do the 2 interior seams, and then we'll clip everything apart from its like, well, we have to clip it apart from the exterior. So anyway, and then we box everything, and then After we box everything, we finish the box edges. So the hope is, or we'll definitely get all the end seams done, and I foresee us getting all of the boxing, like cutting of the boxes done. I would really like if we could actually get all the box edges sewn, or at least started on that, because that's, like I said, one of the slowdown points on these bags. So, and if that happens, then tomorrow I can tag, or I can keep sewing. Who am I kidding? I'll probably keep sewing. But no, actually I want to get stuff tagged, because honestly getting the barcodes done, it felt so good. It was ridiculous. Although we need to keep sewing, because honestly there's not that many bags left. It's like, oh, the Kato especially are like, their numbers are completely devastated, and what's left isn't really like, the bags are fine. There's nothing wrong with the bags, but there's not enough stock to like highlight bags and like have a contrast. So a lot of the colors that are left are the same. Stuff like that. So Kato will finish off these large box bags next week no matter what. And then I want to get the upcycled Obi traveler slings done and the upcycled Kato done, because they're nearly done. Actually, maybe that's something we'll finish tomorrow, is the upcycled Kato, especially if like I'm ahead of schedule. Am I ever ahead of schedule? No, because we didn't finish all these large box bags, but that's okay. I did message Tara last night. I'm like, I have figured out barcodes. Guess what we're doing the night before Knit City this year? Actually, I think I was chatting about that last night. You know, if she's driving out with me, I'll just give her all the Kato to like put the drawstrings in, because I'm an amazing and terrible friend. Oh, but I've already flat out told her, I'm like, oh shoot, we need to actually start the bobbin winding. Anyway, I did already tell her, I'm like, yeah, and so she's been out with me before, which actually makes this process far easier than bringing in someone who hasn't been before. We work together very well, so that's nice too. She takes directions well from me, and there is no like resentment buildup, which I've had with some people that I've taken out before, it feels like, so that's nice. There's people I've sworn I will never take out again. Nope. That was not a pleasant experience for either of us, I don't think. Anyway, so she knows the drill, is what I'm getting at. And I told her, it's like, yeah, we'll do Saturday, just like a spot off for lunch sort of thing, same as last time. And then I'll go around in Sunday morning when it's a little bit quieter usually, and I'll do that show tour again. Now this is like, I'm still on that little bit of an anxiety train. I doubt that Knit City is going to reject my application, but you know, I shouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. So this is barring them not rejecting my application. I'm like 95% sure that I'm 99.8 actually sure I'm fine. Given that they've invited me to the retreat in Canmore, I think I'm okay. Just feels so weird to put an application in for a show that I've been doing on the West Coast for the last 10 years. It's like, oh, right, this feels weird. Makes sense on one level, doesn't make sense on another level. It feels like a lot of admin work. I guess it might even the playing field a little bit more. I don't know what's happening, but if you are a vendor, or you know a vendor who would like to do the Dawson Creek Peace Fibre Festival at the end of April, they just put a call out that they've only got a few more spaces left. I am accepted up there. They actually said that I was the first like vendor that they accepted this year, and I'm like, oh, thank you. That makes like, yeah. So I was like, because I was also like, get it if you don't need more like spaces for people, but like I would love a 20-foot booth if you can make that work, and I would love this like exact spot that I had last year if we can swing it. So we'll see what happens there. Not a big deal either way. That space is going to be good no matter what, I think. That crowd last year was very dedicated to like making sure that I think they got around to see everyone. it's not like an overwhelming number of vendors. I think it's a good mix of vendors. So you're not like just seeing yarn people. You're not seeing just bag people, etc. Yeah, all of that. So there is that. And that is, well, April is just a kill myself 4 month because we've got the 3 shows lined up back to back to back. Well, I haven't heard back from Shindig either. Again, I'm assuming that I'm in. I know we have Hanami. I just made sure to get the information to the last vendor today because I kept forgetting. I was like, oh, you might need this. Because we discussed it like a few months ago and then I totally dropped the ball on it, but that's okay. Got it figured out. And yeah, so it's like Shindig at the beginning of April, Hanami in mid-April, and then Dawson Creek in Peace Fibre Festival in Dawson Creek at the end of April. We have 3 shows. Like we've got Creekside on Saturday, and then we've got the Ancient Arts Yarn Popup, and then we have the Royal We, myself. I have the Retreat Pop-Up in Canmore on February 8th. It's the week after. Yeah, February 8th. So that's what we're working. Those are like the 3 big ones that we're working towards right now. And then we have 2 months off almost to Shindig. So lots. We're going to put that in huge quotation marks. We have lots of time to prep. Sure. You know, it's just going to be nuts. So, and then after that, we have nothing currently confirmed. I'm waiting to hear back from Otafest, yay or nay, if I'm accepted there. But currently, there is nothing scheduled between the end of April and July. July will be the Stampede Pancake Breakfast with Ancient Arts Yarns, and then Omatsuri again, as long as I'm accepted. There's probably going to be some pop-ups mixed in there as well, but we'll find out. Just realizing that the Japanese shrine here did actually host a pop-up this time last year, and someone said that it was like really good. So I guess we'll find out. I should actually get in touch with it and be like, hey, you were suggested last year and it just didn't work out. Please keep me in the loop. Even though I drop the ball all the time, it's constantly falling out of the loop. Yeah, but that'll be July. We're going to apply for Vibrations, which is out in Victoria. That's middle of August. We'll see. What else? Omatsuri, right? Omatsuri is mid-July this year, which is awesome because it actually means that I can do the night market because Dallas will be home. I won't have to do like any crazy child shuffling or anything like that this year, so that's awesome. And then yeah, July, August, and then September is Knit City, and then Shindig in October, and that'll be our year because I am not doing Christmas markets next year. Oh, and Catfest, if Catfest happens. Catfest was like not insane, but the second day was good enough that I'll go back, and so honestly, hopefully it like builds some momentum for me. It was also not an insane table fee either for a 2-day event for where it was located. Loading and unloading was an absolute nightmare, but that is not the event's fault. That was the hotel and their miscommunication. So even the hotel was baffled. It's like, you just need to like put someone on this elevator, folks. Like, but we did it. It was also a 2-day event, which 2-day events are nice because they're typically like, you typically make more money at 2-day events, even though they are more expensive, just simply because of the fact that like not everyone does or has the capacity or ability or anything like that to get out on Saturday. So, but yeah, that's kind of the year in a nutshell, I guess. we'll see. We'll see. The two that are really up in the air right now are Odafest and Vibrations. Obviously, I haven't even put my application in for Vibrations, so who knows. And Odafest is Odafest, and it's like one of those ones where you apply every year and you have the same chance of getting in every single year. So we'll see. I keep hearing really good things about Calgary Expo, but Calgary Expo is like a nightmare schedule. It's 4 days, and I'm like, ooh. Oh, and I think it's actually typically over Peace Fibre Festival weekend. And I'm like, well, drive to Dawson, do 4 days in Calgary. Let's drive to Dawson. It's nice though too, because then like Dallas has family friends up there, like people that friends of his dad that he's like known all his life. So it's a nice way to also go up and visit them. If all works out, Dallas will end up with like, that will be his vacation weekend. So last year we had to get home because he had to go back up to work on the Tuesday, but then this year it should be vacation. So like we have to get home, or should get home, just because it's more comfortable, but it's not like we're in a massive of a rush. Hopefully the roads are good that time of year. That's actually why I don't go do Fibres West out on the coast in March, is because it's like the last couple of years, no problem. End of March though, in like going over the mountains is always so iffy. Just like, Although I have considered it on the off years for Knit City, of like going out for Fibres West. I'm like, But it's not cheap, because a lot of times it is over Easter weekend as well, and it's just like, ooh. So hotels are expensive, and then the booth fees are actually not what I would anticipate for the location that they're at either. That does not mean that they aren't what they should be. It's that it's like, it's more expensive than I anticipated. Oh, okay. So like there's multiple factors. The main one being that the drive at that time of year through the mountains. I'm like, if I could fly all of my stuff out, I would, and I would do the show, and it would be fine. But, nah. And you know that, like, any other day, if I go, oh, yeah, no, we can totally drive out because the roads have been fine the last few years. That would be the year that we end up with, like, avalanche closures and ice storm and snow and, just closures, one end to the other sort of thing. You just, yeah. I guess maybe do it these warm years? El Nino? And then don't do it during La Nina? I don't know. When the winds shift. Yep. Okay. There. So that is all the exterior seams done. So now what we do is we do actually pull all the clips here. And I do not clip the exteriors back because I can just fold them back. This is a little bit fussier on the exteriors because we're also holding, like, we're trying to keep we are holding the, holy fuck, the tab in place, and holding this out of the way is essential for making sure that that tab gets sewn in. Obviously, you'll see in a minute. I fold it back so that we don't have any fabric in the way anyway, but you know. You're like, Katie, we don't know. I'm new to the channel. What the hell are you babbling on about, woman? I don't know. We're all here for the ride. Who knows what's happening? I don't even know. That's a little bit hyperbolic, but not too far from the truth some days. Especially when the sewing machine starts going haywire, and it's like, why are you doing this to me? Stop. Anyway. So part of the reason that I do wait to actually also cut the box edges for this is because, again, as per most of the things I'm doing, I can justify the the box cut to how the seams actually end up getting placed in the bag. And I find that like my box edges have always been very clean. So that's part of why I'm like hesitant to change the system, is because honestly the system is working, and if it's not broken, why fix it, sort of thing. Especially because there would be like, as much as learning curves teach you things, there would be a learning curve to it. And I'm like, but do I really want to do that right now? Maybe when I have spare time, we'll do it. If you're laughing along with me in that spare time joke, I hear you. And if you're like groaning at me, I hear you. I do actually have to keep, the scissors are slowly getting buried with clips. Should probably keep at least a few of those on. Or keep the shears at least a little visible. Also be like, where are my shears? They were here. The shears are in the bin. If I do that, I am downloading that information into everyone else's collective hard drives. My shears are in the clip bin. They might just be buried under the clips. Oh, yeah, so what are we... I know, it's like we haven't even finished Creekside and I'm already like next week. But we like... The next little bit is kind of a mad dash. I know that I did say that none of these are shows I'm going to like super kill myself for, but like we need like... What I'm trying to avoid is the full-on like panic sew before Dawson Creek. There is still going to be a full-on panic sew, but I do not want it to be stuff that we could work on right now. And right now that's large box bags. So like I'm trying to foresight a little bit and be like, all right, what are we going to next? I do really want to get a bunch of notions pouches done, and we did do a lot of sorting up of the scraps. My only hesitation there is it's like I do think we should get the sewing studio moved around before I do a bunch of cutting, because honestly the cutting table is the worst thing to move. And if I have to clear it off again, but the problem with that is that base, I definitely need 2 people here for that. So it's like, okay, and do I want to do that in the middle of a production run? Because if I just wait less than 4 weeks, we could start it then, and it would be less disruptive. Yeah, right. It's gonna be disruptive no matter what, but at least I could be sewing for the next few weeks. But Dallas had a bad week at work, and I was trying to explain the whole like layout to him, and he was highly confused about some of the stuff I was telling him, because I was telling him how like we'll put the sewing machine back in front of the window, and I've figured out a system to make sure that the like, because why we didn't have it in the window, or we moved it away from the window, is because the cats were walking across the sewing table and getting caught on all the threads. So one night and because this had never been a problem before, I never checked for it, but one night they walked across the desk. Flynn walked across the desk, I'm sure, and must have gotten it like caught on his big fluffy tail, and it pulled the bobbin thread into the hand wheel, and then my sewing machine leaked oil for like a year, because I picked out the majority of it. But of course, this is an absolute pain in the ass to get like put together and taken apart. So it was not full. I hadn't fully cleared it out. Anyway, so the plan was that now what we'll do is we are still going to put the sewing machine back into the window, because honestly I would really like that anyway. But I'll just pull the threads from the bobbin area and the needle area, and we'll be checking hand wheel every time I sit down to sew. Now that I know that this is an issue, makes sense. Like in the old basement, there was no reason for them to walk on the table unless they were like coming to visit. So, and yes, we will have their cat tree and everything set up. But do you think that actually keeps them off my sewing desk? More fool us. More fool us. So, but yeah, he was just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, blah, 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 blah. So that's why we're going to do it this way. Anyway, the last thing we need to... All right, I've already discussed this, because I was like, we figured out that, yeah, we'll basically flip the whole room again. Surprise. But then I'll have that nice window. I have blinds on it, so that'll diffuse the like really bright light when we need it to and all that jazz. And then the cutting table is going to go where I am basically right now. We'll move this big metal shelf from behind me, and that can be the wall that the fabric rolls get propped against now. And then the sewing table will go, or the cutting table will go across there. We could technically put it against this wall, but the problem there is that then when I'm standing at it, I'm forever casting a shadow, because then I would have a window behind me. Whereas if I put it against the wall right behind me, the light will come across the cutting table. I keep calling it the sewing table. It is not the sewing table. It's the cutting table. The sewing table is this, and it's going across the room. So I will not have my full storage wall right here, which might end up being a bit of a irksome thing, but I'll probably end up putting a lot of the storage across the room, which is fine. It'll be fine. Because we'll be able to fit... Actually, what am I talking about? That's the same wall that we have all the storage on right now in that room. So it'll be fine. And then this is a 11-foot wall, which means that the sewing table is 6 and a bit feet, I think. 6-ish feet. So like, whatever, it'll be fine. It'll be a pain in the butt to load and unload the rolls, but we'll figure out a system for that. It is going to just be a 2-person job, that's all. Unfortunately, I try to keep all of my stuff to a 1-person job, just so it's like, if I need to do it while Dallas is gone, I can. Although, it's not like he's working like 3-week stretches on overtime right now anymore. He's like week in, week out on a set schedule. Give or take a couple days once in a while. So, that's fine. And it's not like I can't do it. It's just that, like, trying to maneuver a curtain rod or closet rod with a 64-pound bolt of fabric on it without it it consistently falling to the floor. That's where the difficulty lays. It's like trying to wrangle a 64-pound toddler into a location they do not want to be. It's not like the fabric cares. They don't give a fuck. It's like, I'm going to make this as difficult as possible. Is my fabric sentient? No. Does it have stories to tell? Yes. And then I think, so we'll do that full, like, kind of flip. Their desks and, like, stuff is going to go into the cutting room, the current cutting room. Basically, it'll convert into a schoolroom sort of area. And then the one thing we're going to leave in there is the obi and kimono, simply because I'm like looking at it and I'm like, that is the safest and the best location to store it, because it can remain hanging. It can air out, like it's still airing out a little bit if it needs to, sort of thing. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, and I was like, I could totally do this by myself next week. I need Dallas home because we need to make doors for the calyx. I did not trim the top stitch sides here. Oh well. We got the majority of them yesterday, so that's fine. Anyway, yeah, and because that was one of the things that I really did like about this versus the very open concept that we had in the old house. Granted, the cats didn't actually get into the cubbies much, but we also didn't have a walkout in the old house. So this is now a walkout basement, and what we need to do is we need to add doors to the shelves, so that then we don't get all the sunlight on everything. So I do love the fact that I just clued into the fact that this is the wall that we already have the calyx on. We've talked actually about how nice it would kind of be to just knock that out. There's pipes in it. I wonder if it's load bearing. I'm like, wait, if that's the wall that it's getting stored on, because my argument against that is always that it's like exposed, but it would be exposed out here or we'd lose a wall to store stuff on, but it's like whatever, because it's calyx and it can go both directions. But it does take the option if a kid wants to have a basement or a bedroom in the basement, it does take that ability away without like building another wall. So I don't know why they would want a bedroom in my workspace, but all right. Maybe. It still has the potential of being converted into a bedroom. So yeah, no, we'll leave the wall up for now. If we hit 15 years from now and it's like, nope, we don't need the wall anymore, then I can take it down. But for now, also just thinking long term for lots of things, not just kids. So. Ooh, my hands are looking beaten up now. Damn it. After that whatever stomachy bug thing my eldest had, I was like washing my hands furiously last week. And yeah, it took a toll. Doing pretty good this winter, and now it's like, let's suck this skin right to the bone. Go grab that. Oh, right, that's what we can work on instead of large box bags. If I get these mostly done tonight, we'll work on those reversible drawstring bags. That would be good. Have a new product, although that would require more ribbon, which we do not have right now. Do the ones that just are going to get white ribbon, but that's boring. I said that, and I was like, that requires a lot of work because we have to cut and fray check all of the ribbon. Anyway, it is a possibility. We'll see where we get to tonight with everything else before I commit myself to a new bag style. How about that? Although this is going quite swimmingly. We're not even an hour in, and I'm almost done 3/4 of the end seams. So I'll take that win for tonight because, holy, I thought this was going to take far longer. So end seams will probably take, I'm going to say they're going to take another like half an hour, 45 minutes. Because realistically, we have just over a quarter to remaining. Yeah, okay, half an hour max, just depending on everything. Everything being my machine not hearing my panic and causing issues. We probably need to change the needle. Yeah, it definitely sounds like we need to change the needle. How are you doing, needle? Nope, we're good. Okay. There's some bite left there, that's for sure. So. By the way, we're going to finish these, and just for kicks and giggles, we'll get, we're also going to finish a couple small box bags because they're at the same stage that these will be at tonight, which is shove the handle in and close it up. So romantic. Handmade is so romantic. It is. But it is also a lot of work. This is also the fun part. It's like, how long does it take you to make a bag? And it's like, if I sit down and do one, about this long. But if I sit down and try to attempt 75, Like, even the small box bags were not a huge indicator of time in, because it was like they had already been cut. And what did we have to do to the bags before Knit City? It was like we still had a significant amount of work. I think it was like interfacing forward, basically, wasn't it? That was still such a coup to like actually finish those. That's why I'm like, yes, small box bags. Which there are approximately 50 left right now. That is not all Knit City stock. That is actually quite a bit from the before times, before the last Knit City stock up. Just as a heads up. But there were some in there that I'm pretty sure are sold. I'm going to deactivate the listings, and then if I find them in the next few weeks, we'll put them back up. Basically, I would love to use their barcodes for a couple of these other bags. Okay. Bunny, bunny, bunny. Bunny, bunnies. I was also supposed to go to the gym today, and I kept procrastinating on it. I finally went, okay, I have to go for a walk after dinner. Perfect. So I will go. I did my like calf raises while I was watching them do gymnastics, and I did some, calf raises and balance, because my balance is shit. It needs lots of practice. Basically, it's just what has to happen. Won't get better without practice. And balance, calf raises, and I did some like they're called soleus stretches, because my ankle that I broke is the top portion of it is still really tight. And then when I was stretching it, I was like, oh, the calf portion of this is still really tight. Like, painfully tight. I'm like, damn it. So, I need to go back into strengthening and rolling and all the things I know I need to. Again, we're in that holding pattern right now, I think. And it's just like, prepping for so many things. And I'm seeing some gains, but not like the big gains yet. So, patience, practice. It sucks. Those are not my strengths. I say as I sit down to sew and knit. But the thing about that is I can do other things while I'm doing it. Like, I love weightlifting, but getting the motivation to go do it sucks. I should just start sending myself classes, I guess, is what I should do, because I always feel more motivated when I have the accountability of other people think I'm going to show up. And I think I can, if I can trick myself into thinking I have a class by putting it into my phone, maybe that'll work. I don't know. And it's like I need to be really focused in on strength training right now for this marathon training, because then when it starts getting into the really long mileage, it's like I can reduce it a little bit. It's only going to go like, yeah, I don't know how often I'll go. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as I need a leg day and I need an upper body day. And I would like to do that 2 times per week. So 4 times total. I'm like, there's a cold breeze on my legs, but it's just the bags falling behind the machine. We're almost 4 months out from the marathon. This is Calgary Marathon, May 25th, 2025. If you're in the Calgary area, I can always use more cheer squad. Or butts in seats to save us a spot for our beer at the end. That's the other key volunteer in this scheme. Because I am running for beer and bling. Beer and bling. I never wanted to run Calgary Marathon. It is in service of an excellent goal, but my God, do I not want to run it. But getting another marathon training block in is essential. to success, I think. Now, yes, there's a whole bunch of arguments of like, speed up your 5K, speed up your 10K, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yes. But those will also speed up as I do this work too. So that's kind of nice. But it's like, I really need the endurance work and the mental endurance. That's what I'm lacking right now. Because, hey, there's a small business and 2 children and like actually wanting to spend time with my husband and all these other things. Oh well. What is on my glasses? Ugh. It's like a big dust speck right in my field of vision. Yay! The eternal question when you're diabetic and a glasses wearer. Is it the accessories or the eyes? The accessories or the eyeballs? You always hope it's the accessories. Always. Oh, god damn it. I did this the wrong way again. Okay. So if I want to do it, we gotta start from the other end, I think, is what we gotta do. If I want to chain piece it, we gotta start from this end. Yes, we do. Okay, so basically it's gotta be flipped, and we start from the back. Like the one we finished last is the one that should have gone in first. Alright. Well, we won't be making that mistake again. Well, we won't be making that mistake again tonight, hopefully. Okay, come on. Unfold. We don't need anyone seeing the actual interfacing because it got sewn in. Thank you. Okay, 1. I bet you this will feel like the longest set of seams that there is for this portion, for the end seams. 2. 2. 3. Okay, well, I'm glad that we cut it off where we cut it off last night. Like, if this, whatever doesn't get clipped last night was what we were calling it at. It feels like this is actually a manageable number to finish for Saturday without having to be up until 2 or 3 in the morning finishing stuff, which is glorious. Said that's reserved for later. Well, that's reserved for like April. Hopefully not too much of that. Heck, even if we can keep it more moderate of like midnight when Dallas is home, because honestly, I can't do late nights when Dallas isn't home because I have to be up. Getting up to do the kids solo at like 6 a.m. It's far more important to have them like at school earlier because I also have to train. Damn it. The big thing is that all the really long distances are going to be in April. It's like, no! Oh well, I guess it's 1 day. It's 4 days. I can deal with that, I think. I hope. 4 days. And the question becomes if we do, well, it'll depend on the weather. I guess a lot of times, like, we'll split the, Dawson and I'll split the long run days, because then if we need someone to run support crew, we can. Like, not run it, but like bike it for the other person usually. And support crew being like, I got your drinks, I got your gels, I got this, I got that. His runs are far faster than mine, so even if that ends up happening, it's Good cross training for me. Haha. Alright, we're almost through the split off pile here. Which means that we just, well, the other pile is larger, but that's okay. I don't know why this side's going so much slower, but that's okay. It's not. But we're gonna pretend it's okay. I already had my snack, but I am super hungry right now. Which is annoying. The crazy part is that tomorrow my long run is like under 2 miles. 1.8 miles. And I'm like, whoo boy, okay. I'm pretty sure this program is gonna, I'm using it, just a phone app called Race with Hal, which is like, there seems to be 2 real kind of big names in like the training, app training programs out of North America. One of them being the one by Hal Higdon, and one being the one by Jeff Galloway. Jeff Galloway being like super famous for being like really, I think, kicking off the run walk intervals. And I have used him before for the Disney runs. And Hal Higdon just is go for a run kind of thing. Anyway, trying that. If it doesn't work this time, I'm going to switch over to the Galloway app and see if it does anything different for me. So honestly, doing a summer of training intervals would actually not be the worst. Now, I could do that in the Hal Higdon program too, but I did have massive success with the Galloway program, so I'm like, Now, granted, I am actually being able to run for like I'm actually able to run a full run most of the time now instead of like up down, which is also nice. But it's like, well, my intervals get me to my goal time. It really doesn't matter. Because it's not like I don't walk during these training runs anyway. I just don't have any set intervals of like when I'm supposed to walk. So actually, and it would be I think I might do that anyway, because it'd be kind of interesting to go back to that program now. Because and see what the improvement has been since I used it last year. Because the last time I used it was for the half at Calgary, and so I'll use the Hal. I've been using Hal since then, and yeah, I would just like to see if there has been any difference. Because honestly, the intervals I should be able to stay in zone 2 easier too. Hi Wendy, I will towards the end. I know it's ridiculously small, but it's like go 2.5 kilometers. And then the program starts on Monday, and I'm like, I bet you it'll be like, run 4 miles today. And I'm like, oh God. Or something. It probably, I don't know. I don't think it'll ramp it up that hard. But, who knows? Who knows? That's like one of the unknowns right now. And I'm like, I would really just like a hint of like what I'm getting myself into right now. Because it would be nice to be like yay or nay right now. Because if I was like nay, yes, like a horse. I could actually like switch well, I guess I could still. I'm going to see what happens on Monday. Whatever. See what happens on Monday. I'm whinging about nothing. Cat problems being something that I'm doing to myself. That's the most hilarious part of this whole thing. Because it's a cat problem. If you're like, Katie, why are you signing yourself up for marathons? It's like, I don't fucking know. They got the best medals, I guess. I can have 2 or 3 beer at the end. Man, we should almost have a DD that day. Tara, can you DD us? Anyway. All in service of Kyoto. Yeah, I know. Tiny little mouse violin. The worst part of that is the cat would probably eat the mouse. Even I hear it. I know. I'm whining. Like I said, set myself up for my own problems. Oh well. The hilarious part of this is that I never even considered running marathons before kids, because I was like, I might just do a half marathon. And it's like, and then I heard about the freaking dopey challenge at Disney World. It's like, let's do that for our first marathon, because that sounds amazing. So I was carrot cake. Ooh, the coffee shop we have here in Cochrane makes the best carrot cake. They also have an amazing breakfast bagel, and when I'm training, that breakfast bagel is amazing. Maybe that's what I'm gonna bribe myself with at the end of a long training session, is carrot cake and a protein shake. Because there's lots of there's good carbs and good fats in the carrot cake, because it'll have the cream cheese icing on top. And then the protein will help just there's also lots of fiber, so it won't hit my system too fast. I think that's the best bribe for training, because honestly, the race in some ways is the easiest part of this whole thing. It's also lead up to it. That's true. There are so many. Yeah, what else do I have to talk about right now? Small business. That's not going to Japan right now. We could go on ad nauseum about the studio swap around. It's just, okay, I guess we should have a little spinner wheel. We should spin it at the start of the live stream. And be like, here is the topic we will go on ad nauseum about tonight. And it'll be running, studio layout, or Japan. By the way, I did get some of the I found reels of the Macho Bar in Kyoto, so they are in the playlist, which is, I think it's just, I just call it videos I talk about in live streams. But anyway, they are there. And the last one, or the second one, I found it was a dude there, and the guy was serving him his drink, blah, 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 whatever. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. And then the guy goes, arigato gozaimacho. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. If I was not already sold on the concept of going, I now am. Excellent. I figured as much. It's also, it does not have raisins in it. My one hatred of carrot cake in the unknown circumstances is hidden raisins. So, personally, I don't like raisins. I don't know what it is about them. Although the worst experience is still expecting that you're getting a chocolate chip cookie, and then you end up getting that an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie, and then you end up getting an oatmeal raisin. Day ruiner. 100%. Just done. Anyway, but yeah, the carrot cake there is oh yeah, and then a latte, because the latte has a lot of calcium, which is good for the bones, and protein, which is also good, and more healthy fats again. Yeah, there we go. Carrot cake and a latte. Now, granted, most of my training does, the long runs especially, end up happening in Calgary. But I bet you, given the weather, the majority of this training will be happening in the treadmill. So I'm really going to need a bribe. Please send me all your show recommendations. I basically have all the streaming services. And because this is going to be an intense training session on a treadmill, I will 100% pay for more streaming services if I absolutely have to. And then cancel it when I'm done. But yeah, we've got Prime, we've got Netflix, we've got YouTube. Send them all, please. I should actually I was going to say I should finish off the Makanai series, which is that girl learning to cook. Or become a cook for the Maiko Geiko house in Kyoto. But I'm every time I watch that show, I'm food. That should, yeah, no, never mind. That's not a good running one. That's a good walking one. Even then. Yeah, so what I would do on those days is I would not actually go out probably afterwards. Probably what I'll do for those long run days is I will go buy a piece of carrot cake. My long runs will be Friday, so the kids will be at school. So I'll drop them off and I will go, actually I'll have the latte before then. Pick up a latte from them. Good run fuel, caffeine and simple carbs, mostly simple carbs. And then I'll also pick up a piece of carrot cake and then it will be sitting waiting for me in my house after the run. I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah. Oh no, okay. Well, there's the motivator right there. And then I just got to figure out when I'm fitting in that strength training, because it's like we are training to finish injury free. The last marathon training I did, I had the plantar fasciitis for basically the whole goddamn thing. So bad. This just got caught. The edge got a little bit caught right here. I'm just gonna trim it because I think it'll still sew in. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, and it was insane because the plantar fasciitis and the physio was like, no carrot cake until Kyoto. Oh, training for Kyoto. That's cruel. Okay, fine. Fine. That actually is good because that means that I have to get my ass in gear for Calgary because I'm not running Kyoto if I'm not in spitting distance of the cutoff. Can I at least go for my latte before that? Yes, we're going to go for the latte before that. I'll take my Go Cup and everything. Because the other portion that is that a lot sometimes when I'm dropping the kids off by myself, and a lot of these runs are going to be happening by myself too, it's like I don't actually make myself coffee. And that is actually one of the holdups in the morning a lot of the time for my training, is I want to get the coffee into my system. So yes, there's the compromise. I'm going to go get my latte, and then yes, carrot cake bribe for Kyoto. Okay. No, they make these ones with like good whole milk. I'm not doing a skinny latte. I'm talking like 20-mile runs, woman. That's what the carrot cake was supposed to be the prize for. 20 miles. That's like 32 kilometers. Besides, skinny lattes taste gross. Ugh. And too many. Well, okay, I say too many carbs as I'm like going to also ingest so many little gel pack. Ugh. Actually, I typically do the honey stingers they're called, and they're little like little. Actually, that is something I need to practice. Is it's like is I should set the treadmill up to walk cycle down, or I'll walk cycle down at what would be a water station and see if I can run between water stations. That'll be part of the good training in the longer runs. Anyway, yeah. 1 pound per second. That would be a very rapid and concerning weight loss. I am back down, so just by switching off of the meds and not having to like consistently consume food to like keep my sugars up, which yes, granted I could have kept better track of, but I didn't. So moot point. I am back down around the pre-baby weight, which is super exciting. Like where I was hovering before I got pregnant. So I'm like, yes, that's good. Now I just gotta get the physical strength back from that. I think between those two things, that's what's going to help the most, hopefully, with the running. Besides the actual running training, because there is no way but through. Anyway, no. Yeah, go get a latte, go for the long run. And then I have zero excuses for not getting on the treadmill. Well, I gotta drink my coffee. No. Get on the treadmill, woman. No, some of these are still gonna take like 3, 4, 5 hours probably, which is gonna be fucking annoying. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, we have all of the inseam sewn. So the two things we have to, the two things we have to do is we have to box all the edges, and then we also need to trim down all the zippers. And then it is 20 to 9 for me right now. So I think, well, let's see where we get to. It's like probably work until 10:30 again tonight, same as last night, just so I'm not like, I do have a run tomorrow. It's not a long run, even though it's called the long run. And yeah, if I'm not like completely completely like wasted from not sleeping, it's usually better. Running times. Oh, okay, so you gain 1 pound or 1 second per pound of weight loss. Okay, so like I'm down like 10 pounds since we ran last year. I already know that I'm about 30, 45, like 45 seconds to a minute faster on average, which is also good. Because even Canmore, so Canmore was definitely, was 30 seconds faster. Canmore was 30 seconds faster per K, and it had that brutal elevation. So a good indication that I'm actually faster than I think I am anyway. Yeah, I have no clue what my like body fat percentage is right now, and really, I don't care. We're all clipped. But yeah, another like, I don't know, another 10 pounds down eventually would be good, so we'll see. Okay, there we go. All clipped down. So now we're gonna trim. Oh, I have no clue. I'm not as worried about that with the muscle as I am worried about, I want to like have the injury protection that strengthening the muscles is going to provide. So now the weight loss will, like fat loss, because I do have excess, will help improve times. But like, it's not going to be a magic bullet either. And it is its own different set of work. So it's like, I gotta be careful, because it's also like, obviously I don't want to underfuel for these runs either. It's a mess. Oh shoot, we need to do, I was like, we're gonna go in and box, and then we just gotta box the bags. But no, we gotta go in and we gotta do this extra little stitch so we don't have that hole in these large box bags. Don't worry, dude, we're here. What do you think I'm doing? Like I said, I need that little wheel. Spin the wheel. What's the topic we're rambling on today? Or at least we're going to start with, and then we'll go off into the tangents, obviously. I think it's time to talk about Japan, but I don't know. I'm still not over the fact that was like, exchange was 15 years ago. And I'm like, what? When did that happen? We registered the eldest for kindergarten yesterday. When did that happen? Christmas has already been and gone. Actually, I guess I could be trimming down this. Nah, we'll stack them and we'll trim down the zippers in a moment. Never mind. Yeah, it's a balancing act, and it sucks. So I think what I'll end up doing, Because of course, like the watches and the calorie apps and everything, because everyone's different for what they absorb for calories. It's like I think I'll put myself into what they consider maintenance, and then realistically, the exercise is going to help, but it is not the way to lose weight. But I don't want to be undercaloried when I'm running either. So it'll be like not actively trying to lose weight during marathon training, but not overeating beyond the calories that the watch says. I've like eating under what the watch says I've burnt, rather than filling up that whole amount and then adjust. I really should go talk to a dietitian, because yeah, it's a little bit easier now without that medication, or with the medication drop, that I'm not going low. But it's also like, should go talk to a dietitian, nutritionist, whatever they're called now, and like be like, all right, here is everything we need to discuss a plan. And I think they're actually covered under Dallas's insurance. It's just haven't taken the time to do it yet. That's what it is. It's not that I don't think it would be useful. Well, and then there's the whole thing of that you do typically actually gain weight over a marathon training cycle, because as you're endurance running, part of what you're doing is you're building all your glycogen stores, right? And so for every ounce of glycogen that you store in your liver, you store like 3 to 4 ounces of fluid to be able to access it as well, which is why it's so important to hydrate when you're doing like sustained physical activity that you're training for. Yeah, I think that might actually be the thing to do here before training really like ramps up, because we're literally just coming out of whatever he's calling it. It's not bridging, it's conditioning. All that came into my head is that I was making all my muscles soft because I was using hair conditioner, where it's like hair conditioner. Completely different, completely off topic. No. This one's a little bit far down, but I think we can make it work. So this was something I think I subconsciously did a lot anyway, but one of the YouTube tutorialists I follow, Jess of Okla Roots, did a small box, or like a box bag tutorial. Actually, the canvas ones that we're going to be sewing later this year. And what she does is she does this as well, so that you don't end up with any holes in your small box bag where things can fall through, or just like it feels weird if you end up like poking a finger into it or something like that. Yeah, no, that would be like blech, bad touch for me. Which part of it is weird for you as a diabetic? Sorry, because I am also diabetic, so it's like, yeah. I used to see dietitians when I was originally diagnosed, but it was always like, eat more veggies, and it not like useful, but not anything ever new. Not that, well, I guess the science has advanced in the last 23 years, A, and B, the treatment of diabetes has improved significantly in 23 years. So it's probably time to go have a chat with someone, but I need like a sports dietitian, I think. And then that's the thing. So I need like a sports dietitian with a specialty, like a diabetic lens or bent, I think is probably what I need. Alrighty, so we're gonna get these trimmed down. Right, I did say that I was gonna stack these and do them all at once, but whatever. Now Now we know we're good there. Okay, I'm going to pop this underneath here. Turn. And we're going to sew it. We can sew it down from this side. Basically, I'm going with whatever is like the seam allowance closest to the edge for both of these. In this case, it was this one, so we're just kind of following it. Yeah, 1/4 9. Okay. I think we'll probably get all this section done and the boxing done, and then we will leave it to finish tomorrow. So, as kind of the trajectory that I thought. Flynn does have a vet visit tomorrow because he has to gotta go get the scratches checked again. I have a feeling the mite treatment basically got rid of it, so I have a feeling that that's what it is. But I thought she had said that it was going to be a 3-month treatment, and it's only been just around 2. But I have a feeling that maybe that's it, or we ended up with a dose that wasn't correct. I don't know, correct for his size or something. Who knows? Still I think I mentioned this last night, but I'm still how if he has had mites, why hasn't Dahlia gotten them? Which is the other cat. Whatever. If that's all it is, and that's what clears it up, I will be extremely glad because it did work last time. So, well, it was really the only thing that has worked that well. So, and it would be nice to get him off the vet food if we could, because he's currently on a hypoallergenic diet, and it's ooh. We had a constipated cat before this, so we were on a vet diet for the remainder of his life. And then when these cats, that cat was gone, I was like, yes, we can buy still good food, but not vet expensive food. And yeah, it's damn it, cats. And Dahlia's just ticking along. She's going for her checkup too, actually, though. Okay, so it needs to be right there. I don't even remember, what did we end up finishing, 31 or 32 bags last night? I think, clipped everything in, ready to go. So. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I feel the need to count right now, but whatever. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, we're definitely not even halfway through the pile yet. Okay, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh yeah. So yeah, we have 19 to go, and we have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 31 bags total. That's true. That is true. It's It's a new house, although it is like I still think he probably picked up something at the mouse. Oh my god, the ER vet, because it all kind of spawned from that. But who knows? Independent creatures, my ass. Although we have not seen any eviscerated mice around here, which is good. They are supervised outdoor cats, so maybe it was a mite out in the grass that summer. I don't know. Because last time he would have been out was 23. Because the cat, and part of why he hasn't been out since is because the kids would just be like all up in their space and like tangling up their leash, which was dangerous for the cat. So I was like, nope. But I guess we can try again this year. I think the kids are well enough contained to themselves now that it's not as big a deal to have the cats out with them. Again, supervised. Because who knows what the cats will do now. Alright, so there's 14 done. I'm not counting down at all. I should not be hitting a wall for this show, but it feels like I'm hitting a wall for this show, and it's like, how? You haven't even done that much sewing yet this year. I don't get it. But the wall is looking anyway. As you think, it's not the sewing. He said it's the holding pattern of everything, being like, ha 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 ha. You're gonna be waiting for a lot of stuff, and you're not the most patient person. It's like, yes, I knew. Not enough coffee? Dude, it's 9 o'clock at night here. And I chugged a caffeinated soda at 7:30. I want to be drinking more coffee right now. Can you imagine? No. The only time I do that now is it's like if I'm like have to drive. If. And even then it's like, do I really need it? I had a coffee at like 5:30 or 4:30 when we went out Christmas tree hunting, and that was like the worst decision I've made about a beverage. Second worst decision I've made about a beverage recently. The worst, because at least it only kept me up. It didn't give me a hangover, whereas the getting drunk with Dallas was definitely the worst decision I've made for beverages for a long time. I did have coffee. Oh no. I did have coffee earlier this afternoon, or like later this afternoon too, knowing that I was coming downstairs to like work. So I don't know what's up. Whatever. It's the wall. It looms. Need to stop talking about the other shows and its presence. That's probably what it is. I know. And it's like, but so that's what's weird about this. It's like, why am I like done already when I'm definitely not done? Because like I hit the wall for Knit City hard. Actually no, it wasn't Knit City. What was the show last year? I think it was Dawson, where it's just like, I am done. And you still have like the sprint to the finish. Anyway, topics all over the place tonight. Yeah, the Dawson push. That was a rough one though, because it was like after 2 other events, and it's like I did not know what to expect. I'm glad we did that push though. And we'll do it again this year, happily as well, because we know what to expect a little bit better. And I have a feeling it will be even better for me this year, because like people will recognize the name this year. There's like that factor of it. Yeah, that was brutal. Also because we did kind of add it last minute, because I wavered on it because I didn't know if it would be worth the travel. Dallas was worried it wouldn't be worth the travel, which is also fair. And then, yeah, I'm ever glad we did. So, at least, this is true too. It's like, yeah, look, yeah, this is the not kill myself show. So, I think we'll still hit the goal of getting these like boxed tonight. Or at least a good chunk boxed. So that's good. If we're in spitting distance of it at 10:30, then I'll still wrap up on it, because there's no point in leaving like 5 or 6 bags unboxed, because that's 20 minutes of work. So, not a big deal. Kind of a big deal, but whatever. We'll do it. And this is all also in pursuit of stock for Dawson. So it's also a little bit that, like, I do not anticipate selling everything in Airdrie, which is fine because we've got a full schedule. Although if you want to come sell out my booth in Airdrie, please do. I would be ecstatic. I would probably cry tears, because it would be Japan, like, set up for next year. Book our flights as soon as they come out open, and like book the hotel when it comes open in Tokyo. I'm booking the one in Kyoto, but Tokyo requires payment up front. It's like, okay, that's good to know now, instead of just assuming. Can you imagine going to like book the hotel in Tokyo and not know that you're gonna get charged for it, and then like realize as you're booking it? That's, yeah. I'd forgotten that was actually kind of a point against it. Now, fully modifiable, fully cancelable. Really, oh my god, the breakfast there is so good. So good. It's actually like the reason to go back. This is the hotel where we experienced a 3.0, 3.4 earthquake though. And it's a very tall hotel, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. It's like a little bit of that too. But it's like such a good location, and breakfast. All I gotta do is remember that the breakfast there is really good. And central location. And funnily enough, I randomly stumbled across a video the other day of like, whatever. If I talked about this, I don't apologize. But it was this girl going around like to the retro malls kind of. And so like the retro kisaten, which is a Japanese cafe. It's a very distinct kind of cafe for Japan. And a retro arcade, and they're both in the area of this hotel, and I even recognized the building, so I was like, oh well, this makes it even easier to go like do these things. Means that we probably I've planned a pretty tight schedule for Tokyo, but I should probably leave us a couple extra days, or at least an extra day time period. Although I guess we could also explore, like, we'll be over our jet lag at that point, I would hope. So we'll be able to explore a lot easier. It's also like across from the Ghibli clock, if you've ever seen that floating around the internet, of like, yeah, it's a clock, but it was designed by Miyazaki, who's done all the Ghibli studio films, and it like actually rings on a certain performance schedule, which is super cool. So okay. Excuse me. I think that is actually fabric dust. Something. Or I swallowed wrong. Who knows? Did tell Dallas, I'm like, all right, on Sunday, I want to sit down and watch Spirited Away, because it has been years since I watched that. We said we were going to watch it with one of his friends. It's never worked out, so I'm like, let's watch it. I think it'll be a good one to watch with the kids. It's not my favorite Ghibli from what I remember, but again, it's been like quite a while. Probably, have I watched it? I don't think I've watched it since Japan. I might have watched it in Japan. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. I told them that we should watch that on Sunday. Will the kids be scared? Probably. They are scared of everything, though. So, heck, my eldest actually, so we've started helping Santa and understand the concept that we help Santa. And so the present that they got me that went in with the Santa gifts was a cat game. It's called Stray. And occurs in like a dystopian world, blah, 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 blah. I'll try not to give too much away. But the start has a moment which catapults the story. Basically, the cat falls down like an area and to get the story rolling. And the eldest was just curled up, like, crying about this cat falling. It's like, they're okay, though. And I'm, like, down in the sewers, like, not actually okay. This cat was limping. But, like, alive. The cat didn't die. But, yeah, like, that scared them. Ursula scares them in Little Mermaid, like all sorts of things. So we're gonna watch Spirited Away. I bet you No Face will scare them. The guy with the like mask, and I bet you there'll be a few other things. My favorite is still Howl's Moving Castle, though. That's my like pinnacle for me for Ghibli films. So Spirited Away was my introduction to Ghibli. Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite. Totoro is a lot better when you watch it with little kids. Because I remember watching it and being like, meh. Wind Also Rises. Watch it if you want a cry fest. Yeah, I could see it too. Like, there is sections where even I'm like, I bet you the spider crawly will get them. That's fine. Like I said, they're scared of everything, so they can chill with us, and Dallas and I will enjoy it, probably. It'll also be interesting watching it now, having been to Japan and like knowing a little bit more. I think it'll actually make more sense and be more enjoyable for me now too. I know it is too young for heartbreak, and it's like I was very glad that the cat did not die. Yeah, and it's mostly the eldest. The youngest does get scared of stuff too, but it's more like a flinch reaction of things that are like physical versus like the intangibility that our eldest gets scared of, which is very interesting. So, not that they don't both get scared of the same thing, but like that's what I found. That's Spirit, which is another animated film that is about horses by DreamWorks. Spirited Away is about a girl who gets transported into basically another world where she has to work in a bathhouse. And I don't remember very many more details than that, to be blunt. Like I said, Howl's is my favorite, so I'm going to be very curious to watch Spirited Away again. And Dallas has never seen it, so. Yeah. They both came out about the same time too, which is the hilarious part of this. I think Spirited Away, well, okay, how I got introduced to Spirited Away is I used to watch the Oscars like every year, especially because they have the animated film category. Pretty sure that year was the year that like Lord of the Rings, the first Lord of the Rings, was up for a bunch of nominations. Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. Anyway. Long time ago. In a land far, far away. Anyway. But that's how I actually got introduced to Ghibli, is that Spirited Away was up for a nomination for Best Animated Film of that year. I don't remember when. So, it was the same year as Finding Nemo, though, because we rented Finding Nemo and we rented Spirited Away at the same time. VHS still existed, for sure. DVDs were on the rise, sort of thing. Excessive of the seams. We'll turn that down too, along with the zipper, and we have done the last tack down seams on the interiors and the exteriors and the thingamabobbers. Yay! Confetti scrap. The laundry basket is almost full. But I had a big like, well, not a big bin, but a big, not big. It's not big. I had a small garbage can here that I dumped into it, and apparently it actually held more than I anticipated. Ooh, we should watch Kiki. Yes, that would be a good one, because that one is like low stakes and not scary from what I remember. Like, there shouldn't be anything scary about it at all. And it's got a cat and a witch. And our eldest would adore that, I think. Yeah, right, Kiki. Yeah, we'll watch Kiki's and maybe we'll watch both, because it's supposed to be like cold as a witch's tit on Sunday. Alright, so just marking these out with the friction pen. What I do is I only mark the top box, and then I align the seam edge. And just cut it all at once. Is it perfect? No. Does it mess up the interior seams mostly? Yes. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. Now I could technically, because I'm using the friction pen, go through and mark them all, which actually is probably what we're going to do. And speaking of these bins, this is what they're for. So I'm going to go grab them and bring them over here so that we can just do a drop right here. So I don't have to sort them later. That's the whole point. What is under my foot? A pin. Surprise. So why I wear these like house slippers shoes. Which I did get a new pair of this year. They're very nice. I'll tell you in a second when I get back to the mic. Tara needs to crochet faster, so that she can take all of these scraps. Okay, these are the scraps for us. These are the scraps for her. And they're basically just going to frame me. Actually, I think we'll keep them over here mostly, because then I think they'll both tuck in right here. Ooh, and they even fit under the desk. Anyway, what was I going to say? What was I talking about? There's something very specific. Okay. Japanese on the left, North American on the right. Oh, the slippers. They're my like big Christmas present from Dallas, because I was like, he looked at my slippers and he's like, you need new slippers. I'm like, I know, Christmas is coming. I need new slippers. But so they're felted wool with a leather sole, and I had the slip-on ones the last time, so I requested the shoe ones because they've got kind of like more of a cuff, and they definitely keep the ankle warmer. However, they're a pain in the ass to put on, so I was like, okay, next time I just want the slippers again, because I love these. They're awesome. But they're horrendous to put on. So I guess I could technically just trim the back out. But they basically need a shoehorn to get on every morning. And I'm like, I don't have a shoehorn. I have a back scratcher. Do not have a shoehorn. All right. Should we go in and mark a bunch? Yes. I don't know why I asked that question. The answer is yes. Doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 6 at a time. 5, 6. Because we've got what? Like 30, 31. And I just did 1. So that'll be 5 piles of 6. I do think I used to do these like all in like multiple layers or multiple bags at once. But the problem with that is that that does end up in really bad cuts. So we will avoid that. At times I've also actually gone in and marked everything on both when it's been really bad, but I think we can get away with just right. It's better to do both of these and then flip it up, or do, there we go, that's what it was. Do both of these and then flip it and then do the other side. I know, right? I'm actually organized. I actually followed through on a task I said I was going to do and got bins for scraps. My God. Insanity. Just take the scrap bin to like a show and be like, here, have a dig. This is what you get charged for this weight. That actually would be the way to do it. Or the the library sales. It's like bring a bag and put as much as you can into it, and that's what you get for like $2. That would be the better way to do it. Yeah, that is the issue. And honestly, I do that to my walking shoes. I just step into them and it's okay. The ones I have right now, I really don't like them. So I won't be sad when they like wear out. I'm in that weird place that my foot grew postpartum. So like I still fit in a lot of my old shoes, but a lot of them are also tight, and I can't tell if it's length or width. I think it's length. And then actually a little bit of the width too, because a lot of the women's running shoes no longer fit me very comfortably. But it's annoying because it means that some of the brands that I used to wear, I no longer fit. I'm like, no! Actually, this one is okay because why I have them is because they were on sale. It's a significant amount enough that I'm like, I don't want to repeat, but it'll be okay for how long I'm going to end up wearing them. Alrighty, there we go. I have started breaking in my new pair of shoes for the marathon. They're like blue and yellow, and all I can think of is a tang, so they're called my fish feet shoes. At least that's what I'm calling them in my head. Because it's funny. Actually, that's what I called them on Strava. Because Strava now will add up the kilometers that I put on them as well, and I don't have to like so I can kind of fact check myself to be like, okay, they are getting close to like the recommended limit, or they're well past the recommended limit. And I thought I was going to get like another half season out of one of the pairs of shoes, but something happened really weird to the toe box, and I think it's just how it was molded. But they got stepped on during the marathon, I think, or just after the marathon in Florida, after they gotten wet, and it like crunched the toe box, which hasn't been a big deal, wasn't a big deal last year, because I trained in them for most of the year last year. Except then my youngest stepped on them again and crunched it beyond like comfort. I was like, damn it, child. Because they're not loose. So it was just that little bit extra, and it started like rubbing my toes, and that's why it was uncomfortable. I'm like, okay. So these are like, they got downgraded to, I think they're going to end up being gym shoes if I use them. They might be retired as my first pair of marathon shoes. Well, it would have been nice to get another half season out of them. It's like, okay. Better not to lose toenails. Mark the other side as well. Then we could have just gone through and clipped everything. Oh well. So what I do is I line up these side edges, and then I line up the seam lines as well, and then we just trim it so that it cuts through both interior and exterior. Everything's gone very quiet upstairs again, so that tells me that the kiddos are in bed. I think Dallas is probably in bed too. Yeah, that's a tough one too, because it's like one of those situations of like the cheap ones are cheap and you know you're spending a lot of money on them just because it's like you go through them so fast, but sometimes that next step up is a little bit too much. Dallas definitely blew through his. It was like he ran the marathon at Disney and they were like, and we're done. Hole in like the toe box and everything like that. And that's why I'm so peeved off about these ones. And they were pink too on top of it. Because that's the piss off part of the running shoes now is it's like I'm in the men's sizes, which okay, whatever. But there's never the good colors in the men's sizes. Except for this pair, which was like a pink camo-y thing. They weren't even that good. But at least they were pink. But it's like I don't fit in the women's sizes anymore. And I don't ever fit in the women's sizes, it feels like. At least not regularly. So I always end up with the dull men's colors. And it's like, ugh. Just like, I don't know. I don't even know how you would resolve that. The running store in Canmore is really good. And they will order, like, custom orders in blah, 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 blah. But, like, sometimes you just want to walk in and buy your pair of shoes. In a funky color. Anyway, so because even the ones I have right now are basically navy. They're called the fish feet because they've got a like bright blue and bright yellow stripe. Ooh, ooh, ugh. Boring. At least the pink camo is like more interesting visually. Although actually the coolest thing is that Brooks has like partnered with Run Disney, so they're going to be bringing out race shoes based on race weekends. I'm like, oh boy, that is because they used to. I think the last partner they had for running shoes was New Balance, which is not bad, but they didn't have anyone when we were down there for our races, which was probably a good thing. But like they had done stuff for like the princess races, so it was like a sparkly Cinderella shoe, which was probably the pinnacle of what I've seen for a running shoe. Ooh, yeah, no, that's fair. That's tough. I'm complaining because it's like technically, I think I'm like a 10.5 to 11 now in women's shoes, and that's hard enough. I can't imagine being, even in men's sizes, 13 to 14. What? Running in glitter is the best. As long as you don't put it in the wrong crevices. All right. Next set on these bags, and then we're down 7 out of 31. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, that is so much faster to just like pop those in the bin than having to go back through afterwards. And since it's now mostly like we're going to make buttons and confetti stuff out of it, yeah, we'll still have to like do a little bit of sorting, but not like we've had to do previously, hopefully. We're trying to avoid having to clean up the scraps as much. Your curse cover. Yeah, fair. So you put it on like your cheeks, your feet. I would assume that they've like sealed it in somehow, or it was like I don't know. I didn't see them in person, obviously, because this was years ago. Or like they, it was like more of like a woven instead of a actual glitter or something. They were sparkly. I do remember that because it was like the blue kind of fabric. So yeah, this was like pre-pandemic, and we already know how much brain power those children have taken from me. I'm glad that they're using it well. I'm glad they're using it well. They actually are. They've actually memorized some of the lines in Dallas's game, so now it's like when they wrap up on a like dungeon in this game, the youngest is just like shouting the line before they've even really like gotten to the line. Which is awesome. And hilarious. And it's like not like, it's not like complex vocabulary. But they were definitely like, it's definitely like mend the rift. So it's not like typically something that you would see in like a preschooler's book, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I haven't read enough books to them yet. I know. Actually, I don't know if I would have wanted any of the like marathon ones, but I do hope they bring out something really nice if we get into the fairy tale challenge, because pink running shoes, it's the States. They would have the selection. We are going to make sure that we're down there on the first day of Expo, all that. They had a big kerfuffle. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it was like I was kind of feeling like, oh, we're not doing it this year, all of that, right? But then someone came out and said that this was widespread, obviously. They had a bunch of timing chip problems on the bibs. And it was like whole sequences of bibs, so we don't know what happened. Someone speculated that maybe what happened is it was just like someone, like bib 1 ended up being coded with bib 2's number, and then of course nothing kind of correlated anymore. But anyway, and then of course there's a lot of things of like, well, they've taken a lot of the running aspects out of the running thing and put more money into like the entertainment part of it, and it is a little bit like, well, yeah, because it's Disney. I don't know. It is a trade-off, right? But yeah. Oh yeah, I did touch on that last night because I was saying how who goes to like the whole strategy of like what races to run to qualify for certain, like if you want to increase your speed because of the course, basically. I know, total bib scandal. I would have been like, cause so if we had that happen last year with the dopey bibs, I would have been devastated because it was like my first marathon, and like to not have your chip time, you would have like gun time, but. And I know there's so many jokes about like chip time was me going home to like eat the chips on the couch after the race. It's actually one of the running jokes in there, like for the people who have been in this sport a lot longer than myself or Dallas. Gatekeepers, but not really. 3, 4, but yeah, they like. I don't know, thousands of bibs. Not thousands, probably hundreds of bibs. I think, yeah. I didn't actually look that close at the numbers because I was like, well, it doesn't impact me. Although I did message the woman that was posting about it. I'm like, well, now I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything this year. Because it wasn't just like the 5Kers who don't actually have timing chips, but it wasn't just them that had problems. The 10Kers had problems. The like... half marathoners, and then it was like the scramble to figure it out for the marathoners to see it. Yeah, you weren't here for that. Dopey bib. So Dopey is their running challenge for the whole weekend, for marathon weekend. You go run the 5, the 10, the half, and the full. 48.6 miles in 4 days, ma'am. Something like 72K or something like that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, my joke all of last year as I was like training for it and everything like that was that you have to be dopey to do it. So it's the 5K, 10K, half, and then the full. And then there is what's called the Goofy Challenge, which is the half and the full. I very nearly signed up for the Goofy, thinking that it was like the 5, the 10, and the half, because I was like, I can totally do a half. It was not until we were down there, dear listener, that I realized that it was actually the mileage for the half and the full. Do you know, like, I would have been so upset with myself if I had done the Goofy Challenge, because I would have had to do, because I was like, watching all these people talk about it, and everyone was like, well, should I do Goofy or should I do Dopey? And the people doing the, like, chat about it were like, well, it's only a few miles difference between, like, if you can commit the time and the money to it, there's only a few miles difference between doing the, like, to do the Dopey Challenge. And it's like, and I was looking at that like, what? Goofy's like 19.3 miles. And then we got down there, and we finally saw the medals and, like, the distances in the thing. Not that it hadn't been posted on the website. Do not doubt me. Disney communicated this. But it was 39.3, and we both looked, Dallas and I both looked at each other finally and went, Goofy is the half and the full. I would have been so disappointed if I had signed up for Goofy and hadn't been able to do the 5 and 10 just to get the Dopey medal. Because in the grand scheme of it, at that point, it would have been like, like 15 extra kilometers, whatever, not a big deal. Oh. Anyway. Well, and part of this is why I thought that it was the 10 and the half at least, or the 5 or the 10 and the half, is that all their other challenges outside of this marathon weekend are, and actually I thought they were the 5, the 10 and the half, but they're only the 10 and the half even. Because all their other, like, so the Fairy Tale Challenge, which is the princess's one, is like 10K and the half marathon. It's just like, oh, I dodged a bullet, to be honest. So, could have been worse. I did do Dopey. I did not do Goofy. I avoided a lot of disappointment. Oh, and now we're here, and I'm like questioning my sanity for many reasons, but the main one right now is running Calgary. Running multiple marathons in a 12-month period. Because that's the other part of this, is Kyoto will be well within that 12-month period. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? beer and bling and carrot cake. Carrot cake, carrot cake, carrot cake. Kyoto carrot cake. Go talk to the coffee shop and find out if they can, like, sponsor my run to carrot cake. So can you help a local runner support her carrot cake habit while she trains for Kyoto Marathon? Oh, God. Not actually that tired, apparently. Just yawny. But that's where it starts. Just going through and marking boxes. Nope, get out of here. Get out of here. I stalled hard on Nevernight, the last book in Nevernight, whatever it is, Dark Dawn, I think. I was going to listen to it on the treadmill when I was going for my walk tonight, and I was just like, nope. I tried, and then I got distracted. I was just like, I cannot do this tonight. So, I guess I know what I'm listening to in the morning, maybe for my run. The whole, like, do something that isn't high tempo, so it, like, keeps your heart rate better, which, yeah, I guess. Alright. Sushi restaurants in Blue and Blue is getting cut. Bum, bum. But I do want to finish that trilogy before Iron Flight, or whatever the hell this next one is. Onyx Storm, I guess. The next Fourth Wing book comes out, because that's the next book club book. So I want to finish the Kristoff book, so then that, like, I'm, like, wrapped up in that world, finished up in that world before the next one need to dive into is in. Although realistically, we just had book club, so I'll have 3 weeks to read it. But I will be run training instead of walking, so there's that too. Oh well, maybe I'll try and figure out how to exactly juggle it between kids and rocking for bedtime, which is one place where audiobooks and or the ebook reader is, like, superior, is the one or no-handedness of it all. Well, I guess I didn't have to worry about that pop. Yay. All right. Two more on this side in this pile, and then we'll turn around and cut the other side. Then we'll have 18 more after this pile. Melt Cats is gonna look so good. And this square is centered. Oh, right. That's part of why I was like, I shouldn't like stitch these edges, because then I don't have to open up the squares. Anyway, besides the point, because that cut provided us with 2 very well centered melting cats for buttons. At least one. Okay, we got one. There's a little orange cat right here that's gonna look really good. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna look really good on a button. Orange cat on a button. Why is your hip bad? Because of carrot cake or because of dopey bibs? I was like unintentionally stretching today and I was like, whoa, back up. Why is everything so tight? And our yoga lady that usually does the 30-day challenge in January, I think she's pregnant. She did a week-long challenge instead of a 30-day challenge, and it was like, oh. What I should do is I should go in and just redo one of her old challenges, which would be fine too. But yeah, it was only 7 days this year. I'm like, what? Adrian. But if she's pregnant, it makes sense. She did not announce that, but I think she is. Can I do multiples at the same time? Probably, but some patience is better than none. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I find that, I've never been able to do side line reading very well at all. I hate it. And I've noticed recently if I do a lot of, propping my chin up in my hand, the ache in my jaw is so intense, it is, not worth it at all. So it's always, rolling around the bed trying to figure out a way to actually be comfortable to read. I've been seeing... I might be getting enabled through Instagram and YouTube, but there's a stand for your e-reader or your phone, and I'm like, this doesn't seem like such a bad idea now. Because yeah, it's and it wouldn't work for when I'm trying to do bedtime with the kids, but with one of them, it's a little bit easier with an actual book. With 2 of them, it's nigh impossible. I'll just squirming. And then their head's in the way because it's they're trying to I don't know what they're trying to do. But it feels like one or the other's head is always in the way of the page. So I'll have to find other reading time, I think. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, no, we'll just figure it out elsewhere. Oh well. I do want to read it before book club though, because it's easier to participate in the conversation. We ended up having quite a few people there on Tuesday, which is super cool. One guy actually too, which is awesome. Oh good lord. I thought, like, Dallas was no joke. I think he was 10'6", so 10 pounds, 6 ounces, and 24 inches. 3 feet and 10 pounds. Oof. We were really worried that both of ours would be, like, absolute monstrosities. Like, between the fact that he was big and I was diabetic, even well controlled. But then they came out, like, perfectly normal. Well, large. 100% large. But the first was 8'13" at third, and they were born like 37 weeks, 21 inches, I think. And then the youngest was 9 pounds flat and 20 inches, I think. So not tiny babies, but not like horrendously huge babies either, thankfully. But still, the relief. Especially once you birth the placenta, because I always forget that you have to do that, like, at the end. And it's like, yes. There was someone asking on Threads the other day, it's like, first time mums, or people who have recently had babies, did you ever, like, have that moment where you're like, wait? And I'm like, yep. At about 28 weeks, I was like, wait. Oh, 59 centimeters. Okay, yeah, so like 2 feet. That's insane. Like, can you just like think of that, like, curled up in your like uterus? My thing was like, I did like feeling them kick and punch and everything like that, and I never had really bad, like, they didn't end up caught really anywhere. But towards the end of the second pregnancy, especially, especially since I'd basically been almost pregnant for 18 months, it was like the weird out factor of, there is this tiny stranger touching me all the time from the inside. I was so done. I still laugh at the fact that I scared the baby nurse. She wasn't a baby nurse. She was a first-time mom nurse. In labor and delivery, 33 weeks. Went in because I was induced, whatever. Second induction, and we know what was happening. I was like, I want this epidural and I want it now. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yep, I want an epidural. I'm done. And then the second one came in, and she's like, I've had 4 kids. She knows what's up. The second one that came in was actually the one that ended up helping deliver as well. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Too late now. I know. It's like, well, and you understand it abstractly, but with the first, I definitely had that moment of like, wait, what are we doing? Committed now, but don't think we quite know. I do remember Dallas talking about it because, of course, he was watching because he doesn't get really squeamish or anything like that. They did ask me if they wanted to touch my eldest's head, and I'm like, nope. I think I've said that before, but I was like, Amir, do you want to touch? I'm like, no, I just want them out. But Dallas was like, because, of course, they kept crowning and then, like, not birthing, basically. It was the head. He's like, oh, that doesn't look that bad. And then they popped out and he's like, whoa, there's actually like a full like face there. And I'm like, yeah, what did you expect? Like, oh. Yeah, neither of us knew what we were doing, what we were getting into, I don't think. Right? Exactly. Right, they have to go in the same way that they come out the same way they went in. Yay. Well, unless you're having a sunroof birth or I guess maybe a medical intervention pregnancy. There we go. And then I remember the big thing they were worried about with both of them, because of course you're doing the ultrasounds with the diabetes to see that they're not overgrowing a bit, but of course they're basing their shoulder measurements on the belly, which is super inaccurate because the diabetic babies tend to have big bellies because that's where you put so much weight on, as you know. We like our belly padding. Yeah, they were worried about the shoulder dystocia, so that was like one of the worries they had with the first, especially, was like this is a potential that they could get stuck because the shoulders might be really large, blah 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 blah. So this is the first intervention that we'll do, which was basically like, I think it was like push my legs up, and I don't know how that helps, but whatever, it's what they did, and they started doing it, and the doctor's like, no, they're already here. There was no issue. I think that might have been with the second. The second doctor, oh no, that was with the first. The second doctor came in and she's like, I love it when the moms have epidurals because it's just like a great big party and everyone's chill. And then she was like trying to help with like warm cloths and everything like that. And she's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, nope, which is good. She's like, I'm just trying to help. And I'm like, nope, you're good. I appreciate it, but I can't feel it, so. Dude, the hormones fuck you up so much. I've like, the genetic type for me hit really early because I was 12, and it's technically like, well, it's what I think it is. I don't. This is not how they describe it, but basically the pancreas is just slowly not working to its best capability. So it's less insulin resistance than it is a slow pancreas death, I think is kind of where it'll end up eventually. But yeah, I was on insulin for the whole of the pregnancy because I was already diabetic, and honestly, it was a lot of work, and I kept it very well maintained because the the birth defects that they like threaten, like that. Yeah, no, don't go look it up, please don't. I didn't even look it up because I'm just like, I know it can happen. I don't need to know exactly what it is. We'll just keep these sugars under control. But yeah, it's like, we are going to get these all boxed tonight. I am so excited. So we'll definitely get them boxed, and we'll get them finished tomorrow, because honestly, the actual sewing of the boxes, well, while tedious, shouldn't actually be too bad. And then, yeah, we're good. So I will be on tomorrow morning. I am going to go for my run first because it needs to be the top priority tomorrow, and it isn't that long. 1.8 miles, I think, is like supposed to be maybe 30 minutes ish. And Dallas is taking the kids, but I was about to say to the vet, to school, because he's got to go into the city for a truck appointment anyway, so I can just eat breakfast and get straight on the treadmill after my coffee, and then we will be downstairs hopefully fairly early, thinking around like 8:30, 9 a.m. 12 hours. less than 12 hours. And we'll get these cranked out. Thank you. I did. I was very proud of that. The worst part of it is I wasn't able to use the like constant glucose monitor because I actually ended up, my skin has always been sensitive, but I actually ended up having a reaction to the adhesive during pregnancy. No other time. It's like, really? Come on. So I had to do finger pokes at least 4 times a day for like 2 years. I was going to say 3 because we were trying to conceive for like 11 months. But the I was able to wear the sensor pre-pregnancy. But yeah, it was like, I think I was like 6 to 8 weeks pregnant, and it was like my skin was like, blah. Back to finger pokes it is. Thankfully, my fingers have recovered, I think. All right, birds. Itty bitty birds. Now we're on to popcorn. Just sad. These shears. I don't know if it's coming through on the mic. I hope it is. Over top of the creaking chair. Here, I'm gonna bring it up. But that sounded like just the fabric with the shears. It like scratches like something like really good in my brain, and I don't know what it is. But I'm not complaining. So satisfying. And it's that little bit heavier fabrics like that too. This one's lighter, and it still has a good scratch factor, but not as good as that like popcorn one. Oh, I missed one of the squares. What the hell, Katie? These friction pens are actually from when I was doing I just realized. I was like, did I buy these specifically for this? But no, these pens are from when I was doing the Japanese lessons. So I could like write in pen, but then erase them. Oh, man, I should actually try. No, I can't. Never mind. I was like, I should go back to Japanese, but it's... No. I should. What I think I need to do, I think I mentioned this last year, but what I was leaning towards a couple years ago, and I think would still be the good option, is to do like the language proficiency tests. So that I would actually study and like also have a marker of like where I am in terms of the skills, or at least what's communicated via that test. Standardized testing. Just do like the first level. I think it's like JLPT 5 is the first level. It's yeah, because I think, or 1. I can't remember if it goes like up or like down. Like I think JLPT 1 is like the highest proficiency test. It's like you are ready to like use Keigo in a business situation sort of thing. Keigo is like high formality, and then there's like royal, which is even more polite than Keigo. So although that is one of the cool things that I did do when I was in Tokyo over Christmas break on exchange, was the one day of year that the old emperor would come out and actually give a speech was on his birthday. His birthday is December 23rd. Did we understand a word of it? No. But it was still fucking cool. Reiwa? Heiwa. Reiwa is the current emperor. Yeah, no, that was super cool. It has been really interesting though, because I was like, so we were there during Heiwa, and then this new emperor, of course, came in. But it's been interesting seeing the transition in the last couple of years. Then, or the last couple trips I've been up to Fushimi Inari with their torii gates, because oh yes, it does. Adding just another layer of confusion and disappointment for second language learners. Although I would still argue that English is the hardest one to learn, since it's such a, like, as a second language, because it's such a magpie language. And like, and again, the same as like most languages, it's harder to learn the reading than it is necessarily to learn the spoken language. All our spelling rules, at least in Japanese, the spelling rules are pretty consistent outside of kanji. But anyway, as long as you have furigana, you can win. Oh yeah, so going up Fushimi Inari, so all these torii gate that are at Fushimi Inari. Fushimi Inari is the shrine with all the red gates. If you've watched A Memoir of a Geisha, those are actually the gates that she's running through at the end of the movie. Actually, I should watch Memoirs of a Geisha. It's a terrible representation of actual geisha culture, but I bet you I would recognize a lot of the locales. Anyway. Where am I going? The torii there, though, it's a business success shrine. So all the torii there are sponsored by businesses. And so every time they put up one of these torii, it has the business name. They have the whole like pricing scheme down at the bottom of the mountain if you want to sponsor one. Like, I technically could go in and sponsor one with Atelier Nekozuki, which some small part of me really wants to do. They're not cheap though. Just because you can, and they've got the prices posted, doesn't mean that's cheap. Anyway, we have actually seen torii from there from Showa forward, which is super cool. So Showa, Heiwa, and Reiwa now is starting to show up on the mountain. And I think I think the ones from Meiji are gone, but Showa is definitely there. And that's very interesting to me because that's all like the war time. Although I guess he was actually in power until 89, so I have to remember that. It wasn't that long ago. But anyway, yeah, it's cool seeing the Showa ones, and then it's cool seeing Heiwa, and then it's cool seeing Reiwa now too, so just like all. Anyway, that is something, I think I might have taken some video or like pictures of them last time, but I'll make sure I like highlight that next time we're there. Fushimi Inari is also ridiculously busy on the bottom portion of the mountain, but not quite as busy as you hike up to the top. It is 233 meter elevation change from bottom to top. I hope I'm able to do it better than the last couple times. Although honestly, it'll be easier anyway because we'll have the kids with us. So we will bribe them with lots of snacks. Just like we bribe me with lots of snacks. Want Katie to run a marathon? Bribe her with beer and food. And bling. Right. Want her to do a hike? Bribe her with food. And maybe the promise of fabric eventually. Or yarn. Yarn used to be the bribe. It's not so much anymore. Oh boy. We are 100% going to need those extra bags on JAL even. It's nice. It's like the pros and cons list right now for the two airlines is still kind of going. I'm still leaning towards JAL simply because of the seat layout. That is like the biggest pro to it. But another big pro for JAL, which is Japan Airlines, is that they will you get 2 free checked bags. And that's like $200 right there. Actually, I think it's $100 each though. So that's like, we could buy fancier seats within that. Oh, probably. I know. But Dallas will be there with me, so he can take the heavier one. And actually, they've done... I wonder what the Hart Creek elevation change was. They've definitely done some longer hikes this summer, and they'll be another year older. Dallas just signed them up for their first 5K. Because the plan is like Calgary, I'll do some shorter races over the summer, and then we're going to do the Red Deer half. And he signed them up for the 5K for that. But it does look flat. I think they'll be fine because it's flat. Because it's all along a river basin. But yeah, Fushimi and Nari might be a bit much to tackle, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And if they're not fine, well, we'll deal with the whining. And we're not doing that the day after the marathon. That's for damn sure. But I have to go anyway because even if we weren't going to hike it, I have to go do my new prayer board and yeah, prayers, business success, all that. Should also do, I need to take my Daruma back apparently, and they need to be like burnt. So I'll have to get a new Daruma from around there. Blah, 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 blah. Lots of things to do when we're there. It's one of those things, it's like, does it work? And it's like, well, does it hurt to like do these things? No. Do I believe? I believe more in that than I do in like Christianity or even like any of the other major religions. So, hasn't hurt me yet. Knock on wood. Actually, there's a love shrine at Kiyomizu-dera, and that is actually where we went and got, what was it? The, charm of safe delivery, actually, which was super cool. So I had that for both of them. Although I doubt we'll go to Kiyomizu-dera because honestly, that is one of those places where it's just like, it's good once in the daytime and once at like one of their night light ups, but it is so busy. And the like access to that is so insane. Yeah, it's I love that one. Fushimi Inari, I'm willing to deal with the crowds because I'm like, it's so good. Although there is one jewelry shop on the street up to Kiyomizu-dera that I want to go to because the woman is super into cats. And so many of her designs are like cat based. So I'm like, okay, we are going to make a trip there at least. And then get out. Worth it. Then we can walk down towards Yasaka Jinja and stuff like that. So that's okay too. Yeah, now I'm really curious. Well, I'm going to finish cutting the bags and then we'll find out what the elevation change on Heart Creek was. And then I can give you a better report of what we think. How they'll survive. We were all toast. It was a 5K hike, but we were all toast at the end of that one. And thankfully we had a friend with us because she helped ferry the children back down the mountain, the creek. But yeah, so they'll do the 5K and I'm going to go do the half. And the hope is that I'll have like a 2.5 hour half, 2.5-ish hour half, 2:45. And they'll go attempt the 5K. And if nothing else, they will still get their medal. And apparently there's beer at the end of that one. It's like, your registration includes a beer. And I'm like, say no more. And actually the medal is a pretty damn cool one too. At least based on last year's design. And apparently there'll be a new one this year. We also got to opt out of the t-shirt. Yay. Wow, okay. We could have paid for a t-shirt, but I'm like, we have so many shirts already. No. One of the best not metal things that we got actually from a race was coffee. I was like, fuck yeah. And that was from Loop the Lake in Invermere because they partnered with Kicking Horse, which roasts their coffee out there. It's actually the coffee that we drink pretty much every day because they supply Costco. And yeah, it was like, that was one of the best non-metal things we got. T-shirt there, terrible. God, they would love a train ride. One of the best things about most mountains in Japan is that you can, like, hike up the mountain and then typically take a cable car down. That's one of the things I like. Although Fushimi Inari does not have that service, which it's like, that's kind of weird, but okay. Maybe because it's on shrine grounds or something like that. But anyway, I really hope the weather's good. I'm like talking about all these outdoor adventures and I'm like, what are we going to need for clothing? Because like our first trip we went on, it was like, well, it's mid-March and it was like mid-teens. And those mid-teens were the iciest, bitterest, most terrible mid-teens I have ever experienced in my life. Rainy and just like icy, and like the humidity was so high that you were like cold bone deep. And of course, being Canadian and seeing mid-teens, we packed, also living in the Calgary area, which is fucking dry, we packed for dry mid-teens here. Mistake. It was really bad. The first couple of days at like Disneyland, we were just, and Disney Sea, we were just like dying from the cold. And then we figured out why so many people carry umbrellas. Besides the fact that carrying umbrellas is like nice, it was like, oh, because then you don't transfer all your body heat through your jacket to the rain. Oh. And so now whenever we go to Japan, we carry umbrellas because it's just like, all right. Kids keep wanting umbrellas here, and I'm like, they're not super useful here because it's so freaking windy. And I'm like, there'll be cuter ones in Japan, don't worry. We will get you some in Japan. They'll also be better quality. Cuter, better quality. I was pissed off at myself because I actually forgot my favorite umbrella in Tokyo, of all places, in like the November trip. It was tucked behind my door at the hotel. Super annoying. But I'll find a cuter one this time, I guess. I don't know. I was like going out to Knit City one year, and I was like, oh, it's raining, I'll take my umbrella because then I'll keep nice and dry when I'm like loading in, because of course it was raining on load-in day on the Friday. Did not pack my raincoat at like a dummy because I was like, well, I'll have my umbrella. And then I was like, I of course did not clue into the fact that holding an umbrella while carrying bins and grid wall into the forum would be impossible. I was like, damn it. Thankfully, it was not like a super hard rain by the time that I was loading in, but still, it was like, poor planning on my part. It's not like it was actually the weather's fault. You can take a foothills girl to the wet coast, but you can't take the foothills out of the girl, that's for sure. Because that's the thing, we don't carry umbrellas here. Because as soon as you carry an umbrella here, it goes woof. Because it's so windy when it's raining. And if it's not windy, it's typically a thunderstorm. I think I had used my umbrella that I had from Japan a grand total of like 3 times in Calgary and Cochrane area because of that. It's actually more useful in snow than it is in rain. Anyway, I always carry a raincoat now instead. Ugh. I am actually curious what it's going to be like this year, because it's like, honestly, it's the end of September, so it's going to be glorious. Even if it is raining, it'll be fine. But it's like what it's going to be like driving out and driving back. Because I've definitely, one of the trips home, it was like we were driving home. I think it was when it was still the first weekend in October, which they've moved back from because of Thanksgiving and some other stuff, I think. Well, and TRC Day, which is the Truth and Reconciliation Day, because that stat kind of got ramrodded in there, which I don't know where else it was supposed to go, so it's not a big complaint. But that made them have to shuffle their schedule. And yeah, anyway. Early October, we drove through. We left stupid early in the morning. Like, I think we're in the truck at 5:30 or 6. One of those. Like, yeah. Like 6 is a late start on these drives. And leaving from Vancouver. It was raining in Vancouver. Not a big deal. Everyone knows how to drive in rain in Vancouver. Pretty sure I already had the winter tires on the truck too, because it was like, yes, we did, because you have, like, for insurance purposes, you have to have winter tires on your truck or chains in the vehicle after October 1st. So I would have had winter tires on, I think, at that point. Raining. Rained until we started going. It even rained over the Coquihalla, which is notorious for, like, flipping weather, like, instantly. Fine. And then we hit Rogers Pass. And suddenly it was slush. And then we hit Kicking Horse Pass, which is just outside Golden and about 3 hours from home. And it was snow. And then we got through Canmore, and it was snowing even more. So we keep driving. And Caroline, who was probably 5 to 6 hours behind me, got stuck in Canmore for 2 days because they literally closed the Trans-Canada behind me, like, about 2 hours after we passed through. That's how bad it had gotten. Just outside Canmore. So we made that whole drive. The whole drive all the way through was perfectly fine until you were just outside Canmore, which is, like, bonkers. And so annoying for Caroline, because Canmore's only like an hour to an hour and a half from her house, sort of thing, because 45 minutes from us. So so I am a little bit worried about what the road conditions will be on the way home. Especially first snow of the season, too. It's like, That one was nuts, though, too, because then we woke up in Calgary to, like, I think that dumped 4 to 6 inches on the ground that night. And it was, like, one of those situations of, like, okay, we got Knit City. Dallas comes home on Tuesday, and we're flying to Disney World on Wednesday. And so I called Dallas, and I'm like, I'm going to come pick you up. And we are staying at a hotel tonight because I don't want to be on these roads at 4:30 in the morning on Wednesday morning. So that's exactly what we did, and it was a very good decision. That's partly why I've also warned Tara. I'm like, it might be not a bad idea. And even if we needed to book last minute, it's like, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for her to, like, fly home. And then we don't have to worry about, like, road conditions for her work. Anyway. Everything's 8 months ahead or more. 13 months ahead. We're just waiting for the booking window to open for Kyoto, for the hotel. Because that's the thing, even if we don't get into our races, we're still going on these dates, basically. Although I wonder if we should wait to book our flights until, like, we for sure know if we're racing or not. Although I don't think we're moving our dates. Even if we're not racing, there's no point. Hell, because if it goes to lottery and I don't get into Kyoto Marathon, it would actually be kind of cool to go spectate. That's part of it. And same with Tokyo too, actually. Because Tokyo definitely goes to lottery, so Dallas has, like, again, the same percentage chance. Although I think I think Tokyo has a setup that if you apply for 3 years and you don't get accepted, your name goes, like, higher or something like that. So that's kind of cool. So. And the other nice thing about Tokyo is if he doesn't get accepted in this one, continues to, like, apply, and then suddenly gets accepted, it's not like it's like, we could do a dash in, dash out point. Right? Exactly. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It's like, oh no, we don't race. We just go watch. Like, we would go watch the runners. That would be kind of cool. And then we'll go scuttle off and do Fushimi and Ari while all these people are, like, occupied with this run. So. And go to the Macho Bar. We're still going, no matter if I get into the race or not, obviously. Anyway. But yeah, it's like, I'm just waiting for like all of the pricing to actually be dropped, because of course I'm basing everything right now off of this year's dates, and it might change due to Lunar New Year next year being like smack in the middle. Flights shouldn't, I don't think, given that when I searched them like a week around, like basically what we would be doing this year, so like flying, because I think Lunar New Year is January 29th. And so I like searched like January 22nd and it was fine. So I was like, okay, I think we're good. Buy my bling. Yeah. Go buy all the stuff from Expo on the Saturday still. Yeah, I totally ran Kyoto Marathon. No, that's cheating. It's just too bad that like if we don't get accepted, that we wouldn't also then still be able to apply for something like Osaka Marathon or like Nagoya Marathon. That would be when it would be worthwhile waiting on flights, because Nagoya is a women's marathon and it's actually got a 7-hour cutoff. It's like almost, oh man, maybe I should go for that one instead. Like I would for sure finish it, but the problem is that Kyoto's definitely way more my alley. Plus their medals are prettier. Nagoya is cool though because they do like a special thing every year. So last year was Tiffany necklaces, which super cool. And then this year it's some sort of like special glass by Baccarat or something like that. Yeah, no bling. Oh well, I would just have to apply for 27. Not a big deal, except that, yeah, no, it would be. Never mind. Actually, if I don't get into Kyoto, then maybe I will try for Nagoya in 27. Who knows? That would give Natsumi some more time to finish up that order. One year between visits? 1 year. That's manageable. Probably better than 6 months, but... Although I guess even if I go in like November of 26, then that's still like 8 to 9 months between trips. So that's better than like... So the ones that Caroline and I did were extremely close, but you start creeping into June, July, August. June's okay, but it's like rainy season. It's cheap, which is nice. May, though, usually has the best weather, I found when I was there. May and November. And Tara and her sister are, like, debating if they want to do Ireland or Japan, basically. And I was like, okay, well, if you want to do Japan, like, I would still suggest November, and I can, like, shuffle around to that. Although, otherwise, I'll probably get myself there in October. Just because that was cheaper this year, which makes sense. Although I suggested November for her because then it's Momiji season. And if you're going to Kyoto and you're not going for cherry blossoms, you should go for Momiji. And it's still one of the less expensive times compared to cherry blossoms. So, and still decent weather, not bitter take your tits off weather. Yes, this is a Canadian complaining about the weather in Japan. I know. But yeah, it was like the trip that I ended up doing in November and then going back with Caroline in like May was intense because it's like, well, that's a lot of fabric in all of a sudden. And realistically, the November fabrics would have lasted me a year. So that, based on the old amount we were making though. So who knows now? Yeah, based on 2022 to 2023, I could have gone in November of 2023 and been fine. I could not have gone from November of 2022 to November of 2024. I would have needed a trip in May of like 2024. Problem with putting it in May that I run into is that it's like right in the middle of show season pretty much. So that's why I'm trying to also keep them, as much as like we've already got 2 shows in February, it's like try to keep them on the fringes of show season. Because there's the whole factor of like they need to be washed and ironed and processed and blah 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 blah. Should figure out if I can put like a laundry chute into the basement so I could just drop the fabric. Not to wash it. The washing machine's upstairs. But then once it's washed and dried, so I could just drop it into the basement. Because usually this last time I ended up ironing so much of it upstairs because then the kids could hang out with me. And because they were significantly younger. But this time, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that as much. Actually, I just realized the other perk of moving moving everything around is I can actually, so we've still got the nursery chair and we're going to keep the nursery chair because it's my chair. It's comfy, it's big, it needs a steam clean because it's disgusting. But that can actually go in their schoolroom. Because Dallas did have an excellent point of like, am I actually going to be doing any work in the next couple of years as they transition to homeschooling? It's like, nope. But having a chair there and having the work basket that I can do while they're doing school and being present or knitting or whatever is going to be the best option. So having my big comfy chair in there will be good. And there is no room for it, I don't think, in this current space. We probably could make room, but it'll be better in where the cutting studio's. Now the question is when do I move it down? Because we still are like actively using it upstairs. When did your kids start putting themselves to bed? Because mine have only done it once, and not for me. Only for my brother-in-law, which is fine. And I know he would have gone and checked on them and stuff, but it's like, come on, go to bed yourselves. I know I will miss those cuddles when they're done, but that doesn't mean they're not going to still come to our bed every night. I thought we were actually, the youngest was actually reducing the number of nights they're going to come in, because we had like a week where they slept through like every night, and now we don't. They're back in our bed every night, which I'm not complaining about, really. But I also very much revel in the days that Dallas is home and he takes the kids out of bed and I'm able to like spread out. Because of course, it's not just that they're in the bed, but when he's home, there's child Dallas, child me usually, and I'm usually like, if this was the bed, I'm in this like little section, and then there's child Dallas. I'm not saying he has much more room, and then another child. Or, and sometimes this is worse, child, me, child, Dallas. Oh, it's like a jigsaw puzzle every night. And then there is typically some cat on the bed. Usually Dahlia. Usually she's like pressed right against me, or like laying in the crook of like the legs, or wherever she can kind of find space. It's a good thing she's tiny and very, very light. It is only 10:30 and I got this all done. Not even 10:30. Okay, what was I gonna look up? It was something to do with something, and I don't remember what it was. So it's not that important right now, I guess. Holy crap. Okay. I'm like, it's really tempting to continue, but no, I need to go sleep. Can I sleep right now, or am I going to stay awake for a while? I was like all yawny, and now I'm not yawning anymore, of course. No, it's bedtime. Yeah. Sleep. So, sleep, run, so. Pack the truck, actually. So, yeah. So, I will be on early tomorrow because Flynn does have to go to the vet at like 3. So, whatever I'm not finished by 3 doesn't get finished for Creekside. Because I will take it to the vet, and then I'm going to pack the truck for the show. Dallas is going to... Oh, that's actually a nick out of my table. Dallas is going to come help me on Saturday because I forgot how short a setup time it is. It's only 2 hours. I'm like, well, it's a 10 by 10 booth. But I did find my picture of Shindig, and so we've got like a guide map to it, which is nice. Let me see it. And honestly, I think it was like the best optimized 10 by 10 layout I've had in a very, like, ever. So I'm very pleased with that. I'll see if I can find the picture of it. There it is. So which one's going to be easier? Oh, I'll switch you to like the big one. We'll go to the big intermission camera, because then it's the face cam. Hello, come on down. The desk is fine. Yeah, so this was the layout for Shindig. So you've got which way am I here? Handbag rack here. And then, actually I had the shelf there as well. I can see that there. And then we've got like grid wall with an L. There's a little bin right here. I don't know if we'll take that. Depends. And then the table here. Tidy my station now. That's a tall order, Wendy. And realistically, actually, we're doing pretty good. There's like a random pin that should go in the pin bin, but that's it. And we did actually, all of those offcuts actually went into the baskets. But yeah, so I'll be on 3 p.m., like 7.5 hours ago. Then we'll pack the truck and we'll go set it up on Saturday. So yeah, if I don't chat with you tomorrow, I will be on Wednesday, and we're going to just tick along with these large box bags until we're done. We got almost half done. That's pretty good, all things considered, considering that I like obviously overdid it. Oh yeah, no worries. I will see you tomorrow, I'm sure. But basically all I was rambling on about was the fact that I ended up finding the photo from Shindig of like what I figure is one of the better 10 by 10 setups. So we're good. Hope you all have a fantastic whenever you are, and I will chat with you all on Wednesday, if not before. Bye.